Hello everybody. So, I was lucky enough to go to the Mahakumbh Mela this time by God's grace, and I had very spiritually enriching experiences there. So, I thought I'll just discuss a few things with you people, my thoughts, my feelings, what I had at that particular place. Honestly, I was very worried thinking about the crowd, the number of people who will be going there in that one particular place, and I was really worried about like what if there will be a stampede or anything like that. And it is pretty unfortunate that this time also something like that happened, even after a lot of precautions that the government took. So before leaving, I thought that it is my past karmas that is taking me there. So whatever experiences I have there, good or bad, it will obviously be because of my past karmas. So when I thought like that, I felt better and I was ready for the trip. We took a Vande Bharat from Delhi to Prayagraj. And on the way, it was not so easy. Even though it was Vande Bharat, the food was not provided properly. We reached pretty late. And so I made up my mind that this journey for me is just to witness what is happening around me and not to try and control anything that's happening to me or to react in a particular manner. Nothing like that. Just to be a witness and to experience things as it come. So that was my idea while going for the Mahakumbh Mela. Also, once we got down, it took us 1 hour to get to a cab because of vehicle restrictions. And it was a cold night. And you can imagine we were traveling actually from Chennai to Delhi to Prayagraj. So you can just imagine. And hundreds of people were just getting down in the railway station from different trains, and they were all deciding to walk to the Sangam. Some had not even booked for an accommodation, and they were planning to spend their night out in the open, then take a dip in the Sangam and leave by the evening. I was surprised at people's attitude, as they were really not bothered about their stay. They were only thinking about the spiritual significance of the Kumbh. Maybe I could learn a thing or two from them. In the railway station, there were many police personnel, and they were all very helpful. And once we were about to reach our place of stay, again we were stopped. We had to get down from the cab and we had to walk because of the vehicle restrictions. So even though it was 11ish in the night, we found it very safe to walk and there were no problems. Then after a couple of hours of sleep, we got up around 4 o'clock to take a dip at the Sangam during Paush Purnima. We didn't know the way, but we saw thousands and thousands of people just walking to reach Sangam. And so we just joined them and we kept going in that direction. And there were a lot of police personnel also on the way, and they were clarifying everybody's doubts because people were all coming from the outside and they didn't know how to go to Sangam. So we passed Ponton Bridge number 26 and we reached the Sangam. Ganga was obviously very cold and there were already a lot of people taking a dip. You can actually see people from the administration in boats where we were taking a dip to keep everybody safe. And by the time we reached back, it was around 7. There are many small restaurants on the way serving food and tea, but we went to attend the Kriya Yoga program of Shri M, and so our accommodation and food was catered for by the volunteers there. I did not try any food from the outside because I wanted to avoid falling sick at any cost. There were strict vehicular restrictions during the Snan days, and so we walked quite a bit during the first 2 days of Kumbh. You might think I'm exaggerating, but in reality, we walked for 15 kilometers on the first day, 13 kilometers on the second day, and around 10 to 12 kilometers on the third and fourth day, because on the third and fourth day, the vehicle restrictions were eased. Then there are bridges connecting different sectors to Triveni Sangam. The police are really bothered about the number of people at a time on the bridge to control the crowd. On Makar Sankranti, when we were crossing the bridge around 5:30 in the morning, the police mentioned that they will be closing the bridge soon. And when we were coming back around 7 o'clock, the bridge was already closed and people were not allowed to go to the Sangam side. It was a way of controlling the number of people who would be going to that area because of Makar Sankranti. They were all asked to take a dip there itself, as the water was after all flowing from the Sangam to that particular ghat. I remember the police being very strict about their orders that time. A dip in Ganga is a very personal experience for everyone. Like what I felt was, maybe I was born in this era, maybe because I was destined to take a dip in Ganga during this Mahakumbh, because it came after 144 years. It was something like I completed an important goal that I had to do in this birth. I really treasure the experience and the feeling of euphoria I felt after the dip. The waters of Ganga is actually crystal clear, full of fishes and birds. And actually I found the mynas there to be a bit too fat. Every day in the evening I made it a point to sit on the banks of Ganga and just imbibe the beauty of the place. There are very few people in the evenings at the ghats, and so you can see the lights from across the banks illuminating the horizon. During the trip, I also had an opportunity to attend a Ganga Aarati, thanks to the Satsang Foundation. As it was the first few days of Mahakumbh, we didn't know what to expect, and so I carried everything there because I thought it'll all be residential camps and maybe we wouldn't get to buy things. But that was not the case. I could see there were shops selling all sorts of things, even medicines were available, and I even saw a makeshift hospital. So everything was catered for actually. There is a lot of dust, and so you can see sanitation workers always cleaning the pathway. The administration was very good, and there were police people everywhere. The number of tents really amazed me. And it's the first time that I am seeing these many god men and god women all together in one place. All of them had put up tents, like hundreds and hundreds of such gurus. I never knew India had these many gurus actually. I don't know if that's the right word to use, guru, but you get the point. To see all of this, we took a rickshaw. I went with my sister actually, just the two of us, and the rickshaw driver knows everything, so we didn't have any issue. We just said Juna Akhada, and he took us to see the main attraction of the place, the Naga Sadhus. Many of them were pretty intimidating, so I didn't go very near them or interact much. They all had a dhuli and gave vibhuti to people. Some of them were displaying the control they had over their body and mind by engaging in harsh, rigorous acts and practices. I went to a couple of Naga sadhus and got their blessings. And they'll ask for money also. One asked for my watch. And so you'll know that you'll have all kinds of funny experiences. Don't take anything to heart, just have fun with your experiences. An important thing that struck me was there was no male gaze. There were a lot of people having a dip in Ganga, but nobody there actually thinks about gender. Though government had made a lot of these cubicles for changing clothes, people were not using it and they were just changing clothes there itself, and nobody was bothered about it. So I was thinking that in Sanatan Dharma, there is this idea that our body is a temple. Our body is an entity for the soul to reside and evolve and eventually understand and realize the ultimate consciousness. There is no objectification there. I think it is in these kind of instances that we see this in reality. Otherwise, again, we are back finding differences between men and women and exaggerating these differences to gain political points. Then, when I visited Sector 16, Kinder Akhada of transgenders and received their blessings, yet again I was thinking about the inclusiveness of Sanatan Dharma. It is by reducing the gender divide, by considering the body as a temple for spiritual progress, probably we can create some kind of an equality for everyone. then there are genuine and fake sadhus in the area. So don't trust people just because they have come to the Kumbh. I encountered a trickster and I actually had a magical experience. What happened was we were just walking and a sadhu came to us and asked us to give him something. And all we had was an orange in our bag and we gave it to him. Then he called me near to give me Ashirwad. At that time, he stroked his large beard and asked me to show my hand, and he kept something in my hand. I had heard that sometimes Babas give a hair from their beard, but when he kept this on my hand, it was a much larger object. It was a salagram, and he told me to put that salagram in my bag. He told me that this is actually Puri Jagannath and that he was coming from there. He blessed me and then he said that he can see that there is some big sadness in my mind and asked me what it was. But honestly, there was nothing like that in my mind. So then he told me to pick up a stone from the ground and to give it to him while thinking about the problem that I have in my mind. So I just picked up a stone, and that time I thought that let India progress and become a better country. And I gave it to him. And then another magic happened. The second I gave him the stone, he gave the stone back to me. He just put it in my hand and he closed my hand. And by the time it was different, I could feel it that it was a larger object than what I gave him. And he told me to just close my eyes and put it in my mouth. But obviously I was worried, and so I just opened and looked, means it was a rock candy. I thought of paying him some $100, but he told me that he has to give 7 kg of ghee, which is a part of his whatever it is kept for God. And he asked me what is the price of it. When I told him I didn't know that, he told me that it will cost me 7,000 rupees. And I said I did not have that kind of money. So he said nothing to worry, he has a GPay account, and he opened his bag to take out his mobile. But by then my auto wala came to rescue me and he told me to just get inside the auto. While I was doing that, the sadhu called me out and asked me to pay for the salagram he gave me, which I had actually forgotten by then. So I went back to him, gave him the salagram, and I thanked him, and I rushed from that place. I was laughing the whole way because you actually get to see some very talented magic performing tricksters there in the Kumbh. So just be open to all kinds of experiences, enjoy them and let it go. We return back on the 5th day of the Kumbh. Before leaving, we visited a few temples also, the main one being the Alopi Devi Shakti Peeth. The thing is that at this time during Kumbh Mela, there are many highly evolved souls in our vicinity, and so obviously it will help accelerate our spiritual progress. I did have some wonderful spiritual experiences also during my trip, which I obviously don't want to discuss in an open platform. So I'm really happy that I could actually go and attend the Kumbh Mela, which I still feel that I was born to experience whatever I felt there. I've been urging everyone to go there because you will treasure the experiences that you will have there for a lifetime. Thank you.